Here we have Warner Bros.' latest attempt to revive its iconic Looney Tunes characters while celebrating a new basketball champion and maybe, just maybe, sell a few bizarre toys and Nikes along the way. Space Jam: A New Legacy starring LeBron James. A malevolent algorithm played by Cheadle decides to kidnap LeBron and his son in order to beat the basketball great in a virtual basketball game in front of the whole world, thereby becoming more famous than him. LeBron and his son are promptly separated by the algorithm named Algorithm. After a long bad guy monologue, LeBron is banished to the Looney Tunes world because why not? And it turns out that only Bugs Bunny lives there because everyone else has conveniently infiltrated all other Warner Bros. Properties. So the rest of the movie involves LeBron and Bugs traveling to various places in order to gather the best basketball team ever before the big game, which takes up the whole second half of the movie pretty much. Right away, the pacing is a huge issue, as the build up to the Looney Tunes drags and drags and drags. Say what you will about the original Space Jam, but we got to the fun part quick in that movie, and the film's pacing was exactly what it needed to be. If you remember, in the original Space Jam, sure, Michael Jordan and his family were kind of boring, but most of the time you were hanging with the Looney Tunes or the likes of Bill Murray and Wayne Knight. These guys could lighten up funerals, they were awesome. Nothing against the guy, I like him in tons of movies, but this kids movie, this comedy, relies on Cheadle to bring the funny? Why? Sarah Silverman's in the movie, they barely use her, but she could have been a way more entertaining villain than Cheadle at least. Even if you have someone else in that role, this algorithm character is horrible. The video game idea is not the worst, but it's so unnecessary here. It takes up way too much time to explain what's going on and make it work in the story, since it's convoluted as hell, when LeBron could have just been pushed into a deep pit by the bad guy and he would have ended up in the Looney Tunes world straight away. The Looney Tunes, granted, are still fun, despite the writing being lacking in places, providing Bugs and the rest with not a lot of funny jokes. If you look at a movie like Looney Tunes Back in Action, like it or not, the tunes are on point in that movie. They are every bit as hilarious as they always were, and the modern day references are clever and loose, not overbearing like they are here. There's a long sequence when LeBron turns into a cartoon himself and he goes to the Superman animated series to find Daffy, some Wonder Woman cartoon to get Lola Bunny, they go to the Matrix, Mad Max, Fury Road and other places. This Ready Player One style self-advertisement is shameless. It makes all the product placement in the original Space Jam look like nothing in comparison. I truly hate that this movie is just a big ad for HBO Max because it distracts so much from what the movie should have been about. Even then, this is the best part of the movie. It's shameless, but at least it's entertaining. The movie's pacing speeds up, and seeing the likes of Wile E. Coyote in Mad Max or Daffy Duck pretending to be Superman, almost killing dozens of people in the process, was just very amusing to me. The basketball game itself, I'm sad to report, is a big old mess. The Porky rap, the robot guy, the CG, the people getting beamed into the game from their phones somehow, the crowd. Because spending 20 minutes referencing every DC superhero and Warner Bros. Movie made in the past 30 years wasn't quite enough, the film decides to throw a whole bunch of classic characters in the background of the entire basketball game. But obviously they can't pay young Jack Nicholson to play the Joker or Hugo Weaving to play Agent Smith for a 15-second gif. So what we get is a whole bunch of extras cosplaying as classic characters, just waving their arms about, making faces in the background. Why isn't King Kong or the Iron Giant on your team then, numbnuts? Which again goes to show how wrong the whole video game theme is here. Because if they had just had animated characters cheering in the background instead, it would have been cool. All in all, the game has its moments. The Michael B. Jordan cameo is fun, the Looney Tunes are enjoyable, but it is a disappointment nonetheless. What kills the movie for me is the writing, pure and simple. Warner Bros. Just refused to let this be an actual sequel and instead treated it like a hollow reboot stretched out to include as many advertisements as possible. LeBron James, as hard as he tries, fails to capture Michael Jordan's charisma in the original film, and the entire algorithm plot is frankly god-awful, with a miscast Cheadle failing to bring the goods as the movie's main villain. The plot involving LeBron's son is a snooze despite the kid's genuinely decent performance, and one can't help but wonder how much better the movie would have been without all these many distractions. On the plus side, the Looney Tunes are likable, the CG does look nice enough, and like I said, the cartoon sequence is a lot of fun, so some of you will definitely find things to enjoy here, as I did.